Hello, my name's Greg Egan, and today I want to talk about a really important topic, especially for all you guys and girls seeking love and romance out there. Today I'm going to talk about dating scams and some of the signs of dating scams and how to keep yourself safe from these dating scams that are actually out there. To start, I'm going to refer to some of my notes as I go through this. First, the biggest thing that starts with a dating scam is a person creating a fake online profile somewhere, whether it's on a dating app, dating website, or some other sorts of ways of dating out there. So usually it starts with the internet for most dating scams. Or they could be meeting someone in a cafe and they might have their own way of scamming as well. But I'm just going to more lean towards the dating scam type scenarios here. All right, the first thing is dating scams, or dating of any sort. Dating scams can be very emotional. The people that are doing these dating scams can be quite professional. Sometimes they can be even crime gangs designed to put up fake profiles and lure people in to a false sense of security. And they can be so emotional, they can pull at your heartstrings. These guys are skilled, or girls are skilled, at actually finding your weaknesses, looking for your vulnerabilities, and trying to get you to fall madly in love with them so that then you will give them exactly what they're actually after. And usually that is in the form of money. And these people that do these dating scams, they can actually spend months, and I'm just going to adjust my camera for a second here. They can spend months building your trust, building your vulnerability, like getting you to really embrace with the whole romance story about what could be with this actual person before they start going for the kill, which is basically going after the money or some other resource that you got, or trying to help them launder money in some way, shape or form. And like they may even go to the extent of sending you some gifts. They may even go to the extent of keep saying, I'm going to book a flight, but they'll keep cancelling on you. Oh, I'm going to meet up with you, but they'll keep cancelling on you. You start to get a few sorts of red flags right at the beginning of these things. But because they've spent so long trying to get you into this scam, that you just get this trust within them, and you learn to trust them, and you start to accept the excuses they're actually giving. Now let's move on a bit more. The first big, some of the signs that we start with too was what I just mentioned. They do things like saying they're going to meet you. They never do. There's always an excuse, whether they live in the same suburb, the same city, the same country, or another country. There's always some reason why they end up not being able to meet you. That's the first sign. And another big thing is that when you're starting to date them, like a lot of dating sites like your Tinder, your RSVP and all these other online dating sites, they're designed for you to be able to have a good chat with someone and then eventually meet up with them. But most people that are trying to scam you don't want to meet up with you. They want you to believe the story that they're actually telling. And they will sometimes have fake photos. They will have fake names. They will have fake places, fake stories. They've mastered this story. They've made up this whole big profile to catch people in. They could pretend they're an ex-soldier, or they are, some other professional that's working overseas in some sort of honourable job, whether it be social work, nursing, military, or United Nations, something sort of like that you would instantly trust them because of their professional background. And other things that you'll start to get a feel for when you're starting to go through one of these dating scams is that the person will message you a lot, text you a lot, but they won't actually send you a voice message. They won't actually call you on the phone. They won't actually video call you. There's always that excuse, or if they do voice call you, they won't video call you, because they'll say, there's something wrong with my webcam, or my camera on my phone doesn't work. There'll always be one of these excuses that actually come up. And come on guys, in the modern age, most people have webcams. Most people have cameras on their photos. There's all different ways of being able to call by an internet video call. And if they can't, some people honestly can't, but generally speaking, a lot of people have access to this technology these days. And other things, they may have fake, they may only want to communicate through you through text messaging and things like social media apps like Hangouts, Skype, like messaging you through Skype, Instagram, WhatsApp, Viber, or Snapchat, Facebook. They could have all these fake profiles, but they generally refuse to do video or voice chat. But that being said, some will do voice chat. Like I had an interesting one once where I was talking to someone from Asian country, and they claimed to be a member of the military of that particular country. And when I started talking to them, I went, oh, okay, then so you're a member of the military. Oh, that's nice. And they showed me all these photos of them in military uniforms. And then they started leaving me voice messages. And they sounded like, they definitely didn't sound like an Asian accent. They sounded like an African accent. And the only reason I knew it, because I'd dealt with people from various countries around the world. And I just went, your accent sounds very African. And the response was, yes, people tell me that, but really I'm this particular Asian country. And I just went, oh, okay, fair enough. Eventually I just sort of, and then after it, they started becoming very emotional very fast. And then eventually it got to, oh, I'm really desperate on money. Can you buy me a new phone? My webcam doesn't work. Can you send me some money? I'm suddenly out of work. I'm struggling. So it escalated very quickly from actually having a regular job to now the phone doesn't work. The video doesn't work. I'm having to borrow someone else's phone. I need money for this. I need money for that. It's kind of like instant block from my perspective. And I've seen a lot of these scams out there. And other things could be the profile seems too good to be true. Like, do double check. Like, a person's got a profile, if they say I'm a particular professional or something like that, like they're a psychologist, a social worker, or some other sorts of well-known figure, the chances are they've got a social media profile of some type. Whether it's a LinkedIn profile, whether it's a professional Facebook profile. A lot of professionals do have these sorts of profiles as well online. And there's different ways of proving whether they actually work for a particular organisation. Of course, when you're dating, you've got to be cautious about giving out too much personal information right at the beginning. So when it comes to the stories, you will get a lot of these stories out there, especially if you're sort of like chatting to someone overseas or even in the same country. Sometimes they're going to be giving you all these sob stories like, oh, I had a bike accident, or some family member's sick and I desperately need money, or I'm ill and in hospital and I need this money for this, or I need that money for that. There'll always be an emergency of why they actually need money. And be careful and be cautious of that as well, these stories. Because the chances are a lot of them are designed to pull at your heartstrings and to pull at your emotions and to actually try and get you to send money to them. And some of the ways they may even get you to send money will be untraceable ways. Like they may say, oh, send it to me through Western Union, but don't send it to me through the bank. Send it to me so I can pick it up. Because if you send it through a bank account, it's traceable. But if you send it through, like, sending cash to a particular location, there's no way of tracing it. It's kind of like untraceable money. Or they could say, send me gift cards, like post me gift cards and things like that, or buy me this online gift card so I can access it. So they're looking at ways to get money out of you through means that you won't be able to trace where it's actually gone, what country it's gone to, etc., etc. Or they may be saying things like, oh, I have this large amount of money I've got to send overseas, I've got this inheritance, I've got this gold, I've got all these precious items I've got to post somewhere, and if you accept me delivering them to me or putting them into your bank account, then I'll give you a certain percentage of it. Don't believe that. That's another big scam. They may even be looking at ways to try and cipher your money out of your bank account and get your personal details. Or on the other side of it, they may be looking at ways to launder money, which is a criminal offence. And you could find yourself getting caught up in some sort of criminal offence. So be very careful there. Also, you start to find that if you refuse to send money, like if they give you this big sob story, and you say, no, I haven't got the money right now, no, I'm not going to send it, no, I don't send money to people I haven't met, the story quickly escalates. They start to get emotional. They start to put on more of a sob story. They start to elaborate about what all the problems are, how they're going to struggle, how it's going to impact on them. They really start putting the pressure on you to send that money. And then that makes you feel so bad that you want to send them the money. Again, don't. Also, the person often tries to get you to send money before you've ever even met them. Sometimes you have got scammers that you meet and they've got a big elaborate scheme to empty your life savings out and everything like that and get you to sign stuff over to their name. But these internet ones, they're looking at ways to siphon money from you very quickly and as quickly as possible, and then to cut you off suddenly. So that's their goal. And so I'll go into what not to do. And the person tends to disappear for extended periods of time too. That's another thing. You'll be talking to them for months on end, and all of a sudden they disappear for 2 months. You go, oh, what's going on here? Or are they focused on someone else? Are they trying to scam someone else? Or are they working on multiple victims at once? So that you have to be cautious of as well. And when you do go to link in with their social media profiles, you think of the social media profiles we've got out there, whether they're Facebook, Instagram, those sorts of big ones. We generally have friends and family connected on our personal Facebook page. So if you get invited to a Facebook page and all you see is some individual photos with this person, with them with no one else, with no friends commenting on their pictures, and that would start to raise alarm bells for me. Because generally speaking, if you've got a Facebook page, you're either using it for business, which you've got all your business advertisements on there, or you're using it so you can keep in contact with your friends. Like, for example, I have a lot of people, family on mine. I have people I've gone to school with on mine, people I work with on mine. There's a whole bunch of social connections there. And a person that has got this Facebook page with just like their modelling shots is a classic one, and them posing in different ways. It's a bit sus, to put it nicely. Or you might only get a few pictures on their profile and nothing else. It's like a profile that's just freshly been created out of nowhere. So be cautious on these things. And some things that, in most cases, when you do send this money overseas, and I'll tell you bluntly from one of the online scam sites I've read, is that you will never get this money back. Once you send it, you will lose it. And so that's a big warning for anyone that's been said, oh, please send me this money, please send me that money. It's basically money you're throwing away, because you will never see it again. You will never get it back in these dating scams. And the chances are you'll never be able to track down who actually collected this money, or who they were, or their true identity. You'll get a cold trail, because a lot of these dating scams are run by elaborate crime gangs, or they are individuals that are very skilled at what they're doing. Other warning signs that you might get, like you'll get a person that says, oh, I've been educated at the University of England, and I've got my master's degree in this, and I'm highly educated. And then when they start messaging you, their English is pathetic in the way they write. Their grammar's all over the place. And I'm not saying my English and grammar is perfect in the way I write, but I mean, if you've got a master's degree from a Western country or a bachelor's degree, the chances are your English is at a pretty good standard. And if you notice that their English is over and there's just common spelling mistakes in the way they write, etc., the chances are they're completely lying. And now, going on that, and please do add in comments of any scams that you've been a victim of, so that you can share those stories with other people to warn them about it. And other common ones, there's a lot on common dating sites. So just because a dating site's popular, don't accept that every profile is real. Because there will be profiles that are fake, and there will be people that will say, send me money before I meet you. Or they will even take you to, a common one is you will say, oh, hello, how you going? Or you'll get someone that's messaging you that is so good looking, so awesome. And you're just going, well, I'm only average, and this person wants to date me, ? It's not saying that really attractive people have their own levels of attraction to each other, but still, what they'll then do is that you'll go, oh, good. And they'll say, oh, talk to me on Hangouts, or talk to me on WhatsApp, or talk to me on Instagram. And then you go, oh, fine, yeah, fine. I'll talk to you on these various social media platforms or Snapchat. And then you go to say hello to them. And the first couple of messages you get is, hi, how are you? And then the next few messages are, here's my website if you want to talk to me or meet me. And then you go to that website, and then usually there's a credit card you've got to fill in to actually go meet them. instantly it's an instant block, because you know they're either cam girls or other sorts of people that are doing some sort of website scam to try and get you to sign up to paid sites. That's all a scam. So as soon as someone takes you to a third-party website outside the dating app or dating website you're in, instant block. Do not talk to them anymore. They're a fake profile, or they're a profile with the pure goal of gaining money from you in some form or another. Now, some of the ways to protect yourself, I'm going to get into this now. The first thing is look up common internet dating scams in your country, or even look up some of the ones that are going on overseas. Like the Australian government has its own scam site that you can actually look up some of the common dating scams. Don't send money to people you've never met in person. Unless, of course, they're like an extended family member and they're a relative, that's different, but I'm talking about dating. Never give out personal banking details to people that you don't trust or know. Watch out for warning signs mentioned in the above sort of scenarios, like inconsistencies in stories. Like, your person can only go with a fake story so long before you start noticing inconsistencies in their actual story. Like, they may say they travelled to America, they travelled to the Bahamas, they travelled to all these places as military personnel, but then when you ask them specific questions about those countries, they might know nothing about them. Or you may have travelled there yourself and you ask them, oh, have you been here? I don't know it. Or don't know this, or don't know that. Or suddenly they've got 3 children instead of 2. There'll be little inconsistencies you'll start to notice in their stories, so watch out for them as well. Other things, there's different websites for doing reverse image search. Now, I tested these by even putting a picture of myself up for reverse image search. They're not the most effective in the world, but maybe they'll at least find if someone's using a famous person or a model or something like that. But they didn't find any photos of me when I used these for the reverse internet search of your images. But what I'll do, I'll put these image searches, these 2 websites, the images.google.com and also the tineye.com, these 2 websites that are used for reverse image search. I'll put them up on my website. And also, other things where these scammers can come in is they will sometimes get personal details, all sorts of photos of you for the purpose of blackmailing you. Like, a common one I've seen on Snapchat is where the person will try to romance you a little bit, get really sensual with you, get really passionate with you, and start to get you to send sexually explicit photos. And then what that person does with those sexually explicit photos instantly threatens to blackmail you unless you send money. So be very cautious about the type of photos you send over the internet, unless you really, really trust that person. And just be cautious, guys and girls, on what you actually send over the internet, because I've seen that so many times on Snapchat, where in my professional capacities, where people have used explicit photos of people to try and blackmail them, or just general photos of people to try and blackmail them. Other things, if you agree to meet someone for the first time, just consider some safety precautions here. Tell a good friend that you're going out to meet this particular person, and send your friend the photo of the person and some details on them, and a friend you trust. And when you go to meet up with this person, meet up in somewhere public, whether it be a cafe, whether it be a restaurant, just somewhere that's out in the open, so that you can spend some time getting to know them. Generally speaking, I wouldn't meet up with someone unless I've been texting them for a while, I've sent voice messages backwards and forwards, I've had voice chats with them, I've even video chatted with them. And the reason for this, it's the modern age. You can take your time getting to know someone. You can take your time sort of exploring who that person is, seeing if you have natural rapport with them. And I advise this of all my friends that are doing internet dating, is that don't meet up until you've had some video chats with them. And one of the reasons I say don't meet up unless you've had a video chat with someone is because you don't want to be catfished. And there's a good TV series called Catfish, and that I would advise you actually going and watching if you want to look at some of the internet scams that actually occur there, and how people use fake profiles to lure people in for various reasons. And they give you some of those various reasons as well within the catfish thing. And I'll put a YouTube link to the series of catfish as well. And if you're looking at some of the other sorts of scams that are out there, especially if you're dating someone from overseas, I'll encourage you to go to a YouTube channel called Thailand Bound. And I'm going to put a link to a creative list of cartoons that Peter from Thailand Bound has actually put up about some of the common dating scams in Asia, in Thailand, for example. And he also tells a lot of sort of stories about people that have had good and bad experiences dating online. So that Thailand Bound website, even if you're never looking at going to Thailand, just watching it, just to do with those online dating scams, is actually a really good idea. Because he's got some good stuff on there. And it does make your alarm bells start ringing, going, ooh, is this person real or not that I'm actually talking to? Or can I believe the stories they're actually telling to me? Like the cartoon series with is just, it's funny, but it's also real about some of the things that can happen when you're dating online and dating with people overseas. So take your time getting to know someone. That's another big thing. Don't be in a rush to get emotionally involved, because a lot of these scammers within a short period of time are going to say, they love you, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. It could be within about 2-3 weeks, a few months. Suddenly they're so passionately in love with you that they're saying that they're talking about life together, raising kids together and all that after 1 or 2 months. That can be a red flag, because that's them trying to lure you in as fast as possible and as emotionally as quickly as possible into an emotional sense of, oh, I love this person, I trust this person, they would never betray me. So if someone's moving too fast, just back off. Some people do move fast though, it's just the way they are. But if they're an online person, or someone you're dating from overseas, or someone you're dating from a different state or somewhere like that, then just slow down a little bit. Because if you haven't done a lot of video chats with this person, you haven't really got to know them, then suddenly falling in love, there's so much more to love than just what you're learning about when you're chatting to them online. The rest of it, you may develop feelings as you're getting to know someone, but generally speaking, the real love starts to develop when you start spending time together, I would say. You do develop feelings along the way, just in day-to-day dating, but you'll be really in love the moment you're with them. Then you'll know it. And yeah, you can fall in love through letters, you can fall in love through the way you talk to them online, through the phone, just because you have that natural connection with them. But just be a little cautious and move slowly and take your time, so that you know that what they have to offer is real, and that what they have to and what you have to offer is real, and that the two of you are actual real individual people that are generally developing an emotional connection, and not just an internet scam. And if you do feel like you're getting scammed, talk to your friends, talk to your family, and get their second opinion. Because sometimes when you're so emotionally connected with the situation, you lose insight or logic to the situation. So if you start to tell your situation to your friends and family, you can start to see, what is the reality of it? Am I being scammed here? Especially if the money you start sending gets larger and larger and larger and larger, you know something's gone wrong. Stop. Just stop it. If you feel like you're being scammed, cut them off. Block them instantly. Don't communicate again. Don't even get into it. Don't waste your time or energy. I'm going to leave some links to other websites in Australia, like ScamWatch, like cyber.gov.au, because a lot of these have sort of suggestions on how to avoid dating scams and what dating scams are. And as I said, go and watch other channels on dating scams, like Peter from Thailand Bound and his little cartoon series, because it starts to give you ideas on how to protect yourself, how to protect your heart, how to just look after yourself emotionally. Because the last thing I want to see is any one of you out there in the community get caught up in one of these love scams, one of these romance scams. Because I know everyone out there that is seeking love generally wants happiness. So just protect your heart. Just protect your soul. Protect your assets. Protect your life. Just look after yourself. Don't be in a rush. Take your time. Because real love does grow over time. It's not something you have to rush. Okay? Anyway, look after yourself and have a beautiful day. And good luck in the search for love out there. And just be careful. Okay? Thank you.